Gabby Dawson's Chicago Fire Season 14 return is more possible than ever after a Wolf Entertainment update. It has been 6 years since Monica Raymond left One Chicago after being one of its faces since its inception. Much has happened in Firehouse 51 since then, with many characters also bidding the team farewell, but returns are still very rare. As one of the longest-running franchises on network TV, One Chicago, much like the Law and Order franchise, is no stranger to cast reshuffling. Chicago Fire itself is looking at losing 3 more characters when Season 14 kicks off, with Danielle Curie, Jake Lockett, and Michael Bradway exiting the procedural as Darren Ritter, Sam Carver, and Jack Damon. Before that, Firehouse 51 had already said goodbye to a handful of characters, including Chief Wallace Bowden, Sylvie Brett, and Matt Casey. Still, Chicago Fire continues, as NBC brings in new faces to fill the vacated spots left by its departing cast members. While some of them have definitive fates that won't allow them to come back, others can easily return. That includes Raymond's Gabby, who was part of the inaugural cast for Chicago Fire and had significant relationships in the show. She was once married to Casey, but after a particularly difficult patch, both in their marriage and her personal life, they divorced, and she moved to Puerto Rico. Now, the door is open for Gabby's Chicago Fire return. Chicago Fire Season 14's Brandon Larraquente was previously in On Call. Brandon Larraquente as Alex Diaz in On Call. In light of Chicago Fire losing 3 firefighters, NBC and Wolf Entertainment are bringing in a new face come Season 14. For context, it has been announced that Curie, Lockett, and Bradway will all be leaving the first responder procedural, but it is still uncertain how they will be written out. Despite that, their fates are already set in stone. This is where One Chicago newcomer Brandon Larraquente comes in. Not much has been revealed about the actor's upcoming role. In fact, NBC has yet to even confirm his character's name, creating more intrigue about the role and who he might have ties with in Firehouse 51. That said, beyond his on-screen presence, it's Larraquente that's more interesting. Before joining Chicago Fire, Larraquente was the co-lead of Dick Wolf's first streaming show, On Call. Released on Amazon Prime, the show followed a senior training officer with the Long Island Department taking a junior under her wing. Troyan Bellisario played Tracy Harmon, while Larraquente took on the role of Alex Diaz. Now, Larraquente has officially made the jump from one Wolf Entertainment series to another, as On Call has officially been cancelled. Aside from being an exciting addition to Firehouse 51, his transfer also sets the precedent for Raymond potentially following suit, making Gabby's reunion with her former co-worker in Chicago more possible than ever. Monica Raymond's On Call connection can lead to Dawson's Chicago Fire return. Monica Raymond as Delgado looking worried into a car during a traffic stop in On Call. After she left One Chicago, Raymond continued working on other TV shows. Her most prominent one came in 2020, when she landed the lead role in Star's crime show, Hightown, which she also produced and directed. The project ran for 3 seasons and ended in 2024. She followed it up with a role in On Call, playing Maria Delgado. The character only appeared in the premiere episode, which ended in a tragic demise for Raymond's Maria. That said, the role is still significant, since it marked her first Wolf Entertainment project since leaving Chicago Fire at the end of Season 6. This inched her closer to possibly coming back to the NBC procedural. While her exit from One Chicago went down amicably, it's still important that even after all of these years, she continues to have a good working relationship with Wolf Entertainment. With Larraquente making the jump from On Call to Chicago Fire, it isn't outside the realm of possibility that Raymond can follow in his footsteps. It's possible that during Raymond's reunion with the people at Wolf Entertainment, conversations about future collaborations cropped up. While a new project is possible, especially considering how the company likes to work repeatedly with its actors, a return in Chicago Fire Season 14 for Gabby is perhaps the easiest and the most clamored. Why Chicago Fire Season 14 is the perfect time to bring back Gabby Dawson. Gabby Dawson from Chicago Fire. After Gabby left, Casey eventually started a romance with her best friend, Brett. Understandably, the move has been one of the most divisive plots in the show. This was a primary narrative hindrance for her return, considering that it would have complicated Casey and Brett's relationship, something that Chicago Fire was setting up to work like Kelly Severide and Stella Kidd's romance. Now that Casey and Brett are both gone from Firehouse 51, as they have moved to Oregon, the NBC procedural no longer has to deal with the awkwardness that comes with Gabby coming back. It can either be a one-time cameo or a recurring guest star stint, but regardless, seeing Raymond return in Chicago Fire would be a massive treat for fans.